Hello everyone. So today in this class we are going to discuss something called routing protocol authentication. So as you know, each and every routing protocol is going to support the authentication process. Why we would be requiring this authentication process? Because in order to secure the routing protocol communication, whenever you are running any kind of routing protocol over your WAN links, in order to have the secure communication, then we would be requiring to protect that routing updates through this authentication process. So as you know that RIP, EIGRP or OSPF is going to support this kind of authentications. So here in this lab, we are going to see that to implement the EIGRP authentication. So EIGRP is going to support two different type of authentication mechanisms. One is simple text and another one is MD5 authentication. So here now we will be looking after implementing the EIGRP with MD5 authentication process. So in order to start implementing this, so here already I have two routers which was running on my GNS3 environment, and here already I have configured these devices with the IP addresses 192.168.1.100 and another one is 10.1.1.1. So both the interfaces was up and up. And here if I see do show IP protocols, so as of now there is no routing protocol was running on my devices. So let's go and try to configure the EIGRP. So here we will be saying router EIGRP, and we have to define the AS number, autonomous system number. So let's say AS number 100, and let's advertise our own directly connected interfaces 1.100 and network 10.network. Now let's go to router 2 here, configure. So before start configuring this router 2, so let us verify by using the debugging what is going to happen in the background. So debug EIGRP packets. So now let's go and try to configure here EIGRP router EIGRP AS number 100 and advertise our own directly connected networks 2.network and here network 10.network. So now whenever I have configured, it is going to start sending the hello messages. So let's undebug all. So it is going to send and receive the hello messages on the particular interfaces. So EIGRP is going to send and receive the hello messages for every 5 seconds. So whenever you start configuring the EIGRP routing protocol, whenever you start configuring the EIGRP process, it is going to start sending the hellos and it is going to receive the hellos and it is going to build the neighbor table. So if you go to router 1 and if you verify show IP EIGRP neighbors, see here the router 1 is going to form the neighbor with my router 2, which is 10.1.1.2. So now let's go and try to verify the EIGRP authentication. So in order to do that, first we need to configure something called keychain. So on router 1, here I'll be saying keychain, and here we need to define the key name. So the key name, it can be anything, let's say R1. So once you press enter, it will take you to the mode called config keychain mode, and here we need to define the key ID. So you have to remember that whenever you're defining the key ID, so this key ID and whatever the key string you're giving, this both things has to match on all the devices whenever you're starting the authentication. Okay, so now let's say key 1, key ID, here I decided to give 1, and let's say key string Cisco, done, exit. So now in order to implement this, we have to go to the interface S1/0. So here on my device, it was connected on the interface serial 1/0 to serial 1/0 on the router 2 interface. So that's the reason I have logged on to my interface serial S1 by 0, and the command starts with IP authentication, and you have to say more. So EIGRP, then you have to define the AS number. So AS number here we have used 100, and then MD5. So as I said, EIGRP protocol is going to support only the authentication of MD5. It is not going to support the simple text authentication. So let's say MD5. And here we have to give one more command. So whenever you start configuring this command, IP authentication mode EIGRP 100 and MD5, whenever you press enter, your neighborship will change to down. See here, there is a change on the neighbor of 10.1.1.2, which is on the serial interface 1 by 0 was down because of authentication mode has been changed. IP authentication keychain. Keychain we have configured for EIGRP for the AS number 100, and we have to define the name of the chain. Let's say R1. Okay, so once we done with this configuration, let's verify our neighborship. Show IP EIGRP neighbors. See here, there is no neighborship was coming up because of the reason we have configured this EIGRP authentication. So same thing, let's go to router 2 and do the same. So here first we have to say the keychain. Keychain, it can be anything, name of the keychain. And we need to define the key ID, key 1, and key string Cisco, and exit. Now let's get to interface S1 by 0, and here IP authentication mode. Which mode? EIGRP mode with the AS number 100, and we have to say MD5 authentication, and we have to give one more command, IP authentication keychain EIGRP 100 R2. Done. So once you done with the configuration and the authentication was successful on both the ends, your neighbor adjacency will come up. So now again, let's go and verify the neighborship on the remote device. So previously on router 1, whenever I have given the command show IP EIGRP neighbors, so there is no neighborship was shown up. So now again, let's repeat the same command. If you go and verify with the command show IP EIGRP neighbors 10.1.1.2, it was from the neighbor with your remote device of router 2. Now let's go and ping to the device, ping 10.1.1.2 from the source F0 by 0. I should be able to get the response. So again, if you go and verify show running configuration, whatever we have configured on the device. So here we have defined the keychain R1 with the key 1. Key ID we have configured as 1, and key string is Cisco. So on the interface level, we have given the IP authentication mode. So the mode we are using EIGRP with the AS number 100 and MD5 authentication, and we have defined something called IP authentication keychain, whatever the keychain we have configured for the EIGRP 100. So the keychain we have given in the name called R1, right? So that's the reason you have to provide this command. So now in order to verify this, you can use a show command called show keychain. So it is going to show you the keychain whatever you have configured and whatever the password you have defined here. And if you want to verify, you can always use debug EIGRP packets command. in order to verify whatever it was happening on the backend. So thanks for watching this video. For more videos, just subscribe to Route Lab Academy.